Perek Beis, Mishnah Gimel. This Mishnah enumerates the additional 6 brachas that were added by the Shliach Tzibur on the final 7 communal fasts for lack of rain. Ve'elohein, these are the additional brachas. Zichronos v'shofros. The Bartanur explains these are the psukim that we would say on Rosh Hashanah. Zichronos and shofros, that section in the Musaf Amida, these would be added on this occasion. And the Tiferes Yisrael adds also for Zichronos, the final part of the Zichronos from Rosh Hashanah, which is Ato Zocher, the final piece with the bracha. On Shofros, the psukim for mentioning shofar, but also concluding with Ato Niglesa, the tefillah. The next bracha that would be added, El Hashem batzoroso li korosi v'yaneni. This is the first, this is capital Kuf Chaf of Tehillim, the first of the Shia Malus. To Hashem batzoroso li, in my distress, I called to Hashem and he answered me. The next additional bracha, Esor enai el hehorim. This is chapter Kuf Lamed of Tehillim. I raise my eyes to the mountains for tefillas, to Hashem. The next additional bracha. Let me go back on that again, I'm sorry. I'm going back to Esoi Nai, if you can cut that out. So I've just said Karosi V'Yaneni. The next bracha is from Tehillim, Kuf Chof Aleph, Esoi Enai El Hehorim. I raise my eyes to the mountains, to Hashem. The next additional bracha, Mima'amakim Krosichu Hashem, from the depths I call out to Hashem. That's Mizmor Kuf Lamed. The next bracha added, this is from Mizmor Kuf Beis 102, Tefillah La'oni, for the afflicted, Ki Ya'atov, when he faints. That's the particular capital Tehillim. That makes up the 6 additional brachas, starting with those psukim. One doesn't need, in fact it's more than that, one doesn't say zichronos and shofros to make up those 2 additional brachas. But instead of those 2 brachas, one adds the following. One says, Ro'ov ki yehe va'oretz. This is from Melachim Aleph, capital Ches, from Posuk Lamed Zayin till Posuk Mem Aleph, as the Tiferes Yisrael points out. These were the tefillas that Shlomo HaMelech gave and made at the conclusion of the building of the Beis HaMikdash. If there should be a rov, famine, if there should be pestilence, Hashem should answer Klal Yisrael. So of course very relevant to be mentioned on this occasion. And the final bracha, instead of shofars that we mentioned earlier on, Rabbi Yehuda says this would come from Yirmiyah, capital Yudalad, the beginning of that capital until Posuk Yud, and that's Asher hoyo devar Hashem el Yirmiyahu al divrei habatzores, regarding droughts and how Hashem should be full of mercy to Klal Yisrael. Those would make up the 6, those 2, plus the previous 4 that we mentioned. For oimer choismeim, although we mentioned these particular psukim, each one, each section, each area that's mentioned here has an ending to it as well. V'oimer choismeim, as the Bartanura says, achaz zichronos, for example, Chasimas zichronos, there would be a bracha for zichronos. After shofros, there would be shofros, and similarly after each area, each section that was made, each bracha would conclude with its own particular bracha, and there will be more about that in the coming Mishnah. That concludes this Mishnah.